The courtroom doors have slammed shut, leaving Justin Baldoni's professional future hanging in the balance. What happens now? We're diving deep into the whispers and strategic moves that could define the next chapter of a career at a crossroads. Don't miss this exclusive look at what really led to this moment. The sound of doors closing echoes louder in Hollywood than in any courtroom. And this week, those doors slammed shut for actor and filmmaker Justin Baldoni, as his countersuit against Blake Lively was officially dismissed after missing a critical legal deadline. It's the kind of quiet procedural twist that barely makes the headlines, but in the entertainment world, timing is everything, and this single missed date could ripple through Baldoni's career in ways no one saw coming. For months, whispers have circled around the unexpected legal clash between Baldoni and Lively, two stars whose names had never been linked by controversy before. At the center was a tangled dispute tied to intellectual property rights and creative control surrounding promotional narratives for the highly anticipated adaptation of It Ends With Us. The project, meant to spotlight themes of resilience and healing, instead became a lightning rod for tension and miscommunication. Legal insiders say Baldoni's countersuit was his response to what he viewed as an unfair characterization of his involvement in certain production-related claims. But as the paperwork piled up, deadlines loomed, and representation quietly shifted, one crucial filing date was missed. And in the legal world, that single moment, missing the deadline, often means the end of the road, no matter how strong the arguments might have been. Court records now confirm the countersuit has been closed without further action. On paper, that sounds like a routine procedural conclusion. But behind the scenes, it marks a serious pause for Baldoni's legal strategy and possibly his broader public narrative. His silence since the closure has been deafening, sparking speculation across entertainment circles about what might really be happening behind closed doors. People close to the matter describe the situation as complicated, but not career-ending. They note that while the missed deadline was a major setback, it doesn't necessarily close every door, especially in a town where public image and timing often outweigh technicalities. But fans can't help wondering, how did things get to this point? The story traces back to the emotional weight surrounding It Ends With Us. Baldoni, known for his heartfelt storytelling and advocacy work, took a deeply personal approach to the adaptation. But creative tension reportedly built around promotional direction and production tone, especially after the project drew both praise and criticism online for its portrayal of sensitive themes. Somewhere between the creative debates and the PR cycles, lines blurred between personal belief and professional responsibility. As Blake Lively continued promoting her side of the story with quiet confidence, Baldoni's legal team worked to clarify his position. Yet, sources say multiple internal reshuffles may have delayed necessary paperwork, leading to confusion over when and how certain counterclaims should have been filed. When that filing date came and went, the court system simply moved forward. In legal terms, the clock had run out. That's when Hollywood's version of the silent storm began. No grand press conference. No fiery online rebuttal. Just a quiet acknowledgement through official documentation that the countersuit was closed, an ending written not by verdict, but by time itself. And in that silence, the entertainment industry began to ask questions. What does this mean for Baldoni's next steps? Does a missed deadline mark a professional stumble, or could it be a strategic retreat? Because in this industry, sometimes stepping back is the smartest move of all. Observers point out that Baldoni has long positioned himself as a figure of reflection and purpose, someone who turns adversity into transformation. His work on masculinity, empathy, and human connection has resonated deeply with fans worldwide, which is why this legal twist feels more like a crossroads than a collapse. Insiders say he's now focusing on resetting priorities, possibly shifting from courtroom conversations to creative reinvention. Meanwhile, Blake Lively has stayed focused on her current projects, maintaining a measured public presence and avoiding direct comment. Industry analysts say that's a deliberate move, one that prevents the story from reigniting in the headlines. Both parties appear to be embracing discretion, a rarity in a world that often thrives on spectacle. Still, the silence speaks volumes. The missed deadline may have ended one legal chapter, but it opened another kind of narrative, the one playing out in the court of public opinion. Fans online are divided. Some see Baldoni's countersuit as a misunderstood act of defense, others as an unnecessary distraction. Yet almost everyone agrees there's more to the story than the paperwork shows. Publicists familiar with cases like this note that Hollywood's unofficial rulebook is all about timing and redemption. You can lose a filing, one veteran said, but you can still win the story if you handle it right. And if there's one thing Justin Baldoni understands, it's storytelling. In the weeks since the case closure, Baldoni has been noticeably quiet on social media. No statements, no interviews, just a few posts focused on mindfulness and compassion. To his loyal followers, that's not surprising. They know he tends to let actions, not headlines, shape his narrative. But behind the calm tone, there's an undeniable tension. Missing a legal deadline isn't just a procedural oversight, it's a moment that forces reflection, both professionally and personally. Hollywood insiders say that the real test now lies in perception. How he navigates the next few months, his projects, his public image, and his silence could determine whether this moment becomes a footnote or a defining pivot point. The entertainment world has seen plenty of comebacks, but rarely do they begin with a missed deadline. As the dust settles, attention turns toward Baldoni's future plans. Rumors suggest he may refocus on passion-driven projects and possibly step away from high-profile collaborations for a while. Others say he's preparing something quietly powerful, a return not through confrontation, but through creativity. Because in Hollywood, endings are rarely the end. They're just the beginning of the next rewrite. And while the courtroom may have closed its doors, Justin Baldoni's story is far from over. If anything, this unexpected silence might be the space he needs to script his next act, one built not on controversy, but on clarity. The question now isn't what he lost, but what he'll create next. In a city where narratives shift overnight, perhaps this missed deadline was never a failure, but a reminder that sometimes the best stories aren't told in court, they're lived, learned, and retold with purpose. And maybe, just maybe, that's the story Justin Baldoni is preparing to tell next.